Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have on the Goldstein on Gelt show Ryan Hoover, who's the founder of this kind of funky website called Product Hunt. Ryan, can you tell us what is Product Hunt all about?
Yeah, Product Hunt is a site to discover the latest in technology. So, new mobile apps, new websites, new technology products. They're submitted by the community and upvoted. So, you have this kind of curated list of what's new and interesting in the world.
Okay, so I have to comment, having sort of jumped onto the site. I often like to visit the sites of the guests I have on the show, and as usual, I checked out your site, and I thought, oh, I'll just look at it for a couple of minutes and see what it's about. I have to tell all the listeners, if you are going to take a look at Product Hunt, you have to allot at least a half an hour, maybe an hour, because it is so absorbing all of the different topics. So, Ryan, tell us a little bit, how does it work? What do people see when they get to your site?
Yeah. So the way it works is it's not too dissimilar from kind of a similar model to Reddit or Hacker News or other community generated sites. So it's very simple. People submit links to a new product, whether like today, for example, Kong is a new app that launched. There's Picnic, which is this website where you can create a website, register a domain in 5 minutes. There's even this ambient backlight for your TV or monitor that was posted earlier today. And these are all submitted by people in the community that visit Product Hunt on a daily basis, many of them. And then people upvote what they think is the coolest or most interesting or useful for them. And so each day you have this breakdown of what's hot in technology. And the other interesting aspect is within that you see a discussion about these products. And oftentimes the maker of those products are in there answering questions and kind of telling a backstory of the product and where it came from and where they're going. So there's this interesting conversation that you don't really see elsewhere in other networks or other communities.
So tell me about this concept of upvoting as opposed to downvoting.
Yeah, so there's unlike Reddit you can upvote and downvote, and that works for them. For us, we've just stuck with one mechanic. There's one action you can take, and that's upvoting. It's expressing some interest in a product by clicking a button. And we wanted to, one, keep it simple, but also we wanted to avoid any possible negativity or issues with competitors downvoting other people, for example. Since this is about products and there's naturally going to be some competitive tension between other people building products, we wouldn't want to create an environment that would cause that kind of negativity or issues down the road.
Okay. I also think just from, I thought it was sort of a virtue kind of idea that you have, which is people on the web, because it's anonymous, will so often be so happy just to say negative things, and there's no concept of compassion in the world anymore. I thought you were just trying to leave that off the table, and the good will float to the top as they get upvoted, and the bad will just settle down a little bit. But I like your model anyway.
Yeah.
Ryan, one of the things that this is not your first touching of a startup. Where do you see yourself in the world of startups?
Where do I see myself? Well, so I'm 28 years old. I've been through two other startups before this, both in the video gaming space. And I worked in marketing in the very beginning, but then quickly moved on to product management. So that's my kind of professional background. For me, I've always been into startups, but even before that, more into just creating things, whether it's like building my own computer or selling, candy at my dad's video game store, like through gumball machines when I was a preteen. Just there was always these entrepreneurial things that I enjoyed doing. So I've always been interested in this space, and so naturally, Product Hunt is one of those things that appeals to me, and it's one of the reasons why it's something that I built. It's something that I love to do is find new things, talk to entrepreneurs, talk to creators, and kind of understand the backstory and more about what they're building.
We're talking with Ryan Hoover, who's the founder of this very cool site called Product Hunt, which, as he's been describing to us, is a community-driven site that allows people to learn about new technology and new websites and new apps that are available. But more than talking about the site, Ryan, what I'd like to dive into now is how you run a company. How do you develop systems? And I want to give you the background. The reason I'm asking this is because on the Goldstein on Gelt show, we often talk to people and about situations where everyone tends to do things haphazardly. They go, oh, I got a great idea. And I've noticed, especially with failing entrepreneurs, they have a lot of great ideas, but they don't know how to implement it. And the same thing happens with failing investors. As in my day job as an investment advisor, I often talk to people and they understand stocks and bonds and mutual funds, and they like the idea of financial planning. But when push comes to shove, they'll they'll like just buy something that their friend tells them about without really thinking about how to do it. So I'm
Right.
curious, from your perspective as an entrepreneur, how do you approach a new idea?
Interesting question. Well, I mean, there are different methodologies or ways of approaching product building, and a lot of people in startups are adopting more of a lean kind of process and validating ideas and invalidating ideas very early through tests and whatnot. And that's become more commonplace, I guess. That's really important. But one thing that I think people maybe don't they underestimate oftentimes is building a great product is tough, but oftentimes getting attention for a great product is even harder. And what I mean by that is today there's so much being created, whether let's just say it's a mobile photo sharing app or something in that space. There are hundreds of those, if not thousands of those apps created every single day. And getting attention and finding an audience that will even take 2 seconds to look at your app is really difficult. So I would always look at, okay, first figure out what you're building. And I can go on and on about that entire process and how I think about that. But then also think about, okay, once you build it, how are you going to get people to actually find out about it? How are you going to get the word out?
So
And
yeah, let's
like,
break that down. Let's start with what you said and figure out what you're building. And the comparison that I would make a lot is when I talk to clients about figuring out why they're investing. It's often
mhm,
funny to me, or I don't know, funny or a little bit sad. I'll sit with a widow. She was married for 50 years, and her husband passed away, and they have a portfolio filled with stocks. So I say to her, well, what are you looking to invest in? And she
mhm.
says, well, my husband always bought stocks, and that's what I want to keep doing, even though she has no idea. And I asked the same question, kind of what you said, is to, can you help me figure out why you're investing? Because she doesn't need the stock market. She needs
Right.
safety. So how do you figure out why you're following one path as opposed to another when someone asks you, well, tell me the fundamental why?
Yeah, yeah. Well, similar to that, it's very sexy to be a founder or CEO or build your own startup. And I see a lot of people pursue that, and it's great. I want to encourage people to create, but at the same time, it's some people do it for the wrong reason. I believe they do it because it's cool, and starting a startup, raising money. Once you go down that path, it's difficult and it's not for everyone, and it's also something you need to be very conscientious of. Like it's a big decision to make. So anyway, that's another maybe tangent. Um, I think there's things that I do in that product hunt for me is very much based in what I've been doing to an extent in the past before product hunt, and also what I'm very interested in. Startups, technology, products, and that kind of thing. So for me, I left the previous startup that I was at because I wanted to build something for myself and something that I wanted to use. I was working in the gaming space, building tools for mobile game developers, which I'm not. And I just wanted to work on something that I personally would use.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, it's almost cliche to say, but, it's a lot more motivating when you're the consumer. It's also a lot easier to have empathy because you are the consumer. So I think it's one place I would look if you're wanting to start something is, what types of problems do you want to solve, or what things are you doing already in a particular space that you'd enjoy working in?
Certainly as it relates to you. I remember a few years ago, I'm what's called a CFP, a Certified Financial Planner, and one of the tests that I have to take to maintain my license is an ethics exam. We have to take it every
Hmm.
2 years, and frankly, it's not the most interesting. And the companies that offer them, I just found it was difficult to deal with, and they were expensive. And so one day I said to myself, you know something? I'll just start a company that teaches the ethics exam to other financial planners, and I did, and we ended up becoming very successful because we followed this very, very niche market. And like you said, it was based on something that I personally needed. So I decided to
Hmm.
build it. I think that, and I also like something else you said, and maybe you can just comment on it, is you seem to have an idea about what you wanted to build. And a lot of times you meet people, it's not that they have the idea, they say, I want to start a company. And the first thing they say is, how am I going to get investors rather than
Right.
how am I going to come, build the idea? Have you found that? And, which is the right way to go?
Yeah, and investors are a means to an end, and they're important for some people. They're important for some companies like Product Hunt. We need money. We can't bootstrap this business to turn it into what we believe it can be in the future. And so investors are critical to our success. But for everyone, sometimes a bootstrapped approach or self-funded approach is better. One thing that also is worrisome in some cases is people build for investors and they don't necessarily build for their target market or their
Hmm.
consumer. and they start either making shortcuts or, in some cases, with poor investors that exert too much of their own opinion, they start taking their feedback as if the investor is the customer when that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
actually looking at it from the other side is also critical because a lot of times people invest as friends and family or angels or some sort of they're non-professional investors, but they love the idea of getting into a sexy startup. And what they don't necessarily realize is that the guy who runs the startup, he's good at raising money and he's not good at running the company necessarily. And there are
Hmm.
people I've seen who are serial entrepreneurs and all they do is they raise money, they blow it, and they raise more money from other
Yeah.
unsuspecting people. So I think from an investment standpoint, you got to be real careful about putting in lots of money into something, that you may not understand, which is why I hear that Product Hunt is maybe looks for new rounds of funding, but so often people it's just all about raising the money and paying themselves a salary until they can either have a miracle or not, and then just go on to
Yeah.
the next project.
Yeah, and the other thing is fundraising is again a path. It's a strategic decision. It's not success by any means. So when you announce that Series A, it's really exciting. People tweet at you, they congratulate you, the press writes about you. It feels good naturally, but at the same time, you have to remind yourself and your team that this actually is just a small little marker of our long journey, our several year journey, and this does not mean that we built a good product ultimately. It doesn't mean that people are
Right.
using our product or they want our product. And you have to remind yourself that.
Well, I certainly think people are going to want your product. So, Ryan, in the last minute, just tell us a little bit more about how people can follow you, follow Product Hunt, and where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm on Twitter. I am on Twitter all the time, command tabbing to TweetDeck. So you can reach me pretty easily on Twitter at Hoover. And I also occasionally write on either Medium or my own blog at ryanhoover.me. And then Product Hunt, of course, is producthunt.com. We actually just launched our 2.0 version of our iOS app last week. And very soon, we're actually making an announcement for some big product changes that we're making. We haven't yet shared any details, but shortly after this episode airs, I think you'll see something exciting from us.
All right. Well, we will certainly look forward to that. Now, I'm really hesitant about whether I want to download the app because I know it'll just tie me down for hours and hours. But in any event, though, Ryan, we will put links to all of that at the show notes of today's show at goldsteinongelt.com. We've been talking to Ryan Hoover, the founder of Product Hunt. Check it out at producthunt.com. Ryan, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
You've been listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world. If you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.